Good evening, everybody. Buckeye Piper coming to you with a post Hurricane Dorian smoke. What a week. So, enjoying some 19-year-old Dunhill 965 in my OMS Devil Ants. I'll let the dogs in real fast so they don't mess around. They don't know what they want to do. Great pipe. Great pipe. I was able to get an OMS Bushmaster as well. Can't wait to break that in. They had some great Labor Day sales that I was able to capitalize on. But anyhow, Dorian, Hurricane Dorian. If you're not on the East Coast or you don't watch the news, and if I was on the West Coast, I probably wouldn't know a thing about Hurricane Dorian because I don't watch the news. But we just had a pretty fun-filled week here on the East Coast. So, we're in North Carolina. We're not coastal North Carolina. We're probably 2 hours inland. We're not quite to Raleigh. But we're not in Hatteras either. So, this hurricane just taxed us at work all week long. So our service area includes South Carolina and Virginia as well as North Carolina. So we were working this thing all week, just all week long. Can we get to stores? Can we not? How are we going to do it? So today the hurricane hit this area. And I use that term really loosely. Really loosely. I guess it started last night in the evening, probably 8, 9 o'clock or so. To me, it amounted to nothing more than, not even, I've been through worse thunderstorms with hail and everything, quite frankly. So we didn't lose power. There's no limbs or anything down, really. A little bit of leaves knocked off. There was a couple gusts, but nothing major. No problems. No problems at all. Some rain. Again, it amounted really to nothing more than a rainstorm to us. Now, those on the coast, little bit different story. Much more impact. Nowhere near the impact of Florence last year, but still very impactful. There's a lot of areas in Carolina around New Bern and on the coast that are still rebuilding from last year. They're not. In fact, this summer we camped by somebody that was living in their camper because they're still rebuilding their house. So they got hit again. So pretty rough. Pretty rough patch. Challenging day at work. In fact, work is still going. I've got to jump on and do some more work this evening. Quite a bit of call-ins today. Probably in excess of 10% of the total staffing. So that's a big number, big number when you're a big business. And I tell you, the local government did us no favors. Schools were closed. The colleges were closed. The college near the apartment here had a sign, one of the neon signs, said, "Go away, Dorian." I didn't even know Dorian showed up here. But we watched this thing all week. Listened to it on satellite radio. Got Sirius and Sirius. So they had station channel 105 was tuned to it all week. Just the Weather Channel all week long, just going about it. All week. You know, this thing was pretty slow moving. Now, it tore the heck out of the Bahamas. Make no mistake about it. That was a big, big storm. And I mean, there's significant damage and death down there. But as far as where we are, we were fortunate, really fortunate, as was most of the coast. Myrtle Beach, you know, you come around the curve there. South Carolina kind of curves up. North Carolina juts out a little bit. I think it did make official landfall. I think they did say, I don't know if it was Ocracoke or Hatteras, but the Outer Banks right now, I know the people on Ocracoke that didn't evacuate are stuck. They're flying in supplies. You can't get in or off that section of the Outer Banks. We service that area too, but we had to call off those loads. Just can't get in. Just no way. So in watching the Weather Channel this week, it really illustrated again to me how much the media really drives people to make, well, you know, whether decisions may not be the right term, but really stirs up the masses. Let's say it that way. Did anybody watch the Weather Channel? Did you see the stuff that they were saying? The verbiage they were using? Granted, in the Bahamas, this was catastrophic. But for the mainland United States, for the most part, not catastrophic. But just the inflection in the voices and the passion and you know, I know they sell their brand. They want people to watch, but man, the verbiage they used and pummels and, you know, I could see why some people are scared to go outside. I mean, really, folks, here it was rain. We've had worse thunderstorms in this area. We really, truly have. And I'm not making light of the storm. I mean, again, thoughts and prayers go out to those in the Bahamas and in coastal Carolina for sure. There was a lot of impact. Again, in the New Bern area and the places in the Outer Banks I talked about. There was some flooding. There was some definite, you know, issues. Now, I think maybe coming off the heels of Florence last year, which we weren't here. We came just after Florence. But maybe coming off the heels of Florence, folks may have been a little more gun shy. And I get that. But, man, the Weather Channel, just every night I just couldn't believe some of the things it would say. And just the way they would just over dramatize in some cases. You know, they threw up these power outage maps, and part of pretty much our area guaranteed, more or less guaranteed to lose power. I don't think anybody in this area came close to losing power. Yet alone have any sort of storm damage whatsoever. But if you were to listen to the Weather Channel, shoot, people probably evacuated out of this area. but I just find it interesting. And it's not just the Weather Channel. It's the media in general. That's why I really don't watch the news. Everything is just blown out of proportion and just made to seem like the worst thing ever. I don't know. And in some cases, you know, that's appropriate. I don't know in this case that all their reporting was, in my opinion, appropriate. And that's a harsh word, I guess. That's sharp, right? Because at the end of the day, I really do believe they are trying to keep people safe. And I want to believe that they're trying to keep people informed. But informed, and I don't know if the word I'm looking for is coerced, or it's definitely not brainwashed. I'm not going that route. But just stirred up. Let's call it stirred up. Informed and stirred up are two different things. And the Weather Channel stirred up a lot of folks, without question, this week. And just watching it all week. I mean, I had to watch it. It's my livelihood. It's what we do. We service these areas. We put trucks into these areas. We do a lot in these areas. So I had to know what was going on. But man, it was intense. And just like that, my satellite radio in the truck still tuned to 105. I jump in the truck and just like that, it's a baseball game. It was over. By this afternoon, it was absolutely gorgeous outside. Beautiful sunny day, light breeze, very, very decent temperature. You would have never guessed that there was outer bands of a hurricane that were in the area at all. It just was that fast. You know, we went to bed. We kind of settled in last night. Probably slept through most of it. Again, it didn't bother us a bit. Going to work this morning, there's a couple little breezes, you know, little gusts, but wasn't bad. It wasn't even raining when I walked into the building this morning. We did get some decent rain at times, but it was a rainstorm for us. We will count our blessings and count ourselves fortunate that is all we, you know. Again, please don't mistake this video for me making light of this storm, because this was a butt-kicking storm. It truly, truly was. It was one of the most powerful ever recorded in the Atlantic. And when it hit the Bahamas, it just pounded them for 2 days. It would have been like, to me, it looked like just being bombed, you know. Being in a foxhole with no way to shoot back is what it was really like for those folks. Catastrophic. That was catastrophic. But we'll count ourselves fortunate. But anyhow, that's our update. That's Dorian. Gone. I think it's going to go and hit, what is it, Nova Scotia or something tomorrow. I think going to hit somewhere up that way, and it's pretty much done deal now. I haven't watched or seen because everything's been Dorian, but I guess there is another storm forming in the Atlantic. And they're calling for this to be a very active hurricane season. So we may not be out of the woods just yet. But man, this time last week, people in Florida were thinking they were goners. If you think back a week, they really were. It was bearing down on them. It was a Category 5. It was the biggest storm in the Atlantic, second biggest storm in the Atlantic recorded in terms of wind speed. I know at one point it was pushing over 185 miles an hour with gusts sustained, with gusts into the twos. Hurt. I mean, that's getting into tornado force winds. They said the Bahamas would have felt like a 15-mile wide tornado just sitting on you. If you could kind of envision that, I can't put that into. I can't imagine that. No way. But man. So anyways, anybody else watching this, hopefully if you were in the storm's path, hopefully you were as fortunate as we were. There'll be some businesses, I think, slow to open. I know, like I said, you still can't get on parts of the Outer Banks. That's my phone. Work. Anyhow, gonna jump off here, folks. Just thought I'd get on and give you an update how things played out, turned out, and were for us here in the Carolinas, for the part of North Carolina we're in. Fortunate, thankful, blessed. Prayers going out and thoughts going out to all those that were impacted and that did get hit. And I'm appreciative that the Weather Channel was there and reported. They did a great job keeping everybody informed, even though I think they fanned the flames of excitement, maybe a little much at times. I think they did get people a little more fired up, maybe in some cases, than they needed to be. Maybe not. That's judgment call, personal opinion. But y'all take care. Wishing y'all the blessings in the world, and we'll catch you next time. Have a great night.